unmute.
नहीं, मुझे नहीं आ रही है। अच्छा ठीक है, but
sir, we
I
are
don't
getting
know.
your
Just
voice,
check.
sir. We are getting.
Can you hear me?
But madam,
Hello.
Hello, yes sir.
hello ma'am, क्या आप सुन पा रही हैं
Major
मुझे?
sir, you are
हाँ, अभी
audible.
ठीक है।
Major sir, you are audible.
Okay, okay, ठीक है मैडम, ठीक है मैडम, ठीक है। तो प्रोफेसर सनीम फातिमा मैडम, डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ मैनेजमेंट एंड कॉमर्स, डीन एकेडमिक अफेयर्स, मौलाना आजाद नेशनल उर्दू यूनिवर्सिटी मानू, जिसे शॉर्ट में कहते हैं। She completed her MBA and PhD from Osmania University. She has a 21-year teaching experience. She guided five PhD scholars in her able guidance, and 3 are pursuing. And one research project she also completed. The title is A Study of Performance Management Practice in IT Sector in Hyderabad. She authored 3 books. One book, a handbook on human resource management for students, and second edited book, FDI in service sector and opportunities and challenges. And she also create self-instructional material in human resource management for Professor G. Ramareddy Center for Distance Education, Hyderabad. मैडम ने 26 से ज्यादा रिसर्च पब्लिकेशन नेशनल और इंटरनेशनल रेप्यूट के जर्नल्स में किया है, एंड शी हैज अटेंडेड मोर देन 26 seminar, workshop, and conferences. She also organized more than 10 sponsored seminar and workshops. Other than she is serving as a member of Executive Council, Pondicherry University, Pondicherry. Also a member of peer team Visit National Accreditation and Council, NAC, Bangalore, and a member of Academic Council, Maulana Azad National Urdu University. So now I request you to, madam, please present your lecture on today's theme, that is inclusive education.
Dr. Surendrapal Singh ji and dear participants, a very good afternoon to all of you. Am I audible, please?
Good afternoon. Yes, madam.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. So I extend a warm welcome to this online session in the NEP Orientation and Sensitization Program about NEP 2020. And today's talk will be on the theme, among the 8 themes, one of the 8 themes, that is student diversity and inclusive education. So friends, first of all, let us remember this is not a normal class, but this is only a capacity building program. And then let us, though this is an online session organized by the UGC team at MMTTC AMU, let us make it as interactive as possible. Okay? So I will be sharing my presentation, but before we move on to the theme, basically my presentation will be, we will talk about the higher education's importance of education, higher education system of our country, where do we stand today, what is the present scenario, and what exactly is diversity. And then we will relate this diversity with students in our campuses, that is higher education institutions, colleges, and universities. And then we will talk why has this diversity been observed, and what are we trying to do? How are we addressing student diversity, and what are the steps to be taken to address the consequences of student diversity, and what exactly is inclusive education? What is our role as teachers in inclusive education? So this will be my presentation. And then wherever possible in between, I'll be sharing the supporting documents, regulations, and also a video. So kindly be connected and try to be as interactive as possible. And friends, let me remind you, gone are the days when we were only teachers, but today we are facilitators, we are mentors, and we are role models. Our contribution is not just in the students. Why do students join any educational institutions like college or a university? Basically to earn their degrees, to shape their careers, to join services, or to become successful entrepreneurs, creating jobs. So either they are job seekers or job creators, but in between, whatever is the disciplines. I suppose all of you may be from different disciplines, like I am from the discipline of management and commerce. You may be from sciences, arts, humanities, and technical subjects or the professional subjects, whatever it is. But our role as teachers is very, very important, especially given this era of technological era, or we are living in an age of disruptive technologies. Why disruptive? A decade back, not even a few decades, few years ago, we were not so much used to using Amazon, Flipkart, Make My Trip, Swiggy, Zomato. Similarly, our life is around. Can anyone imagine 2 to 3 hours of your day without this mobile phone? Highly impossible. And I'm sure many of you will check a couple of times your mobile phones, whether there is an important message or so, even during the course of our discussions. Am I right? Do you all agree?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
So in this era of technological developments, wherein we have got the apps, we are dependent so much, the education sector is not far away. So much of information is available to students at the click of a button. There is ChatGPT, there is AI, there is Bard. So with so much of information, can any technology, we have robotic teachers, we have online education, exclusively not only the MOOCs courses, but we have educational institutions right in our own country, not outside other countries. But we have certain universities offering UG and PG course programs, that is BA, BCom, BSc, and MBA in an online mode. With this technology, can any technology replace a teacher? This can only support us. Now, whatever technological developments are there, the overhead projector, the smart classroom, the smart boards, these are only for our support. They are adding to the teaching learning process. So with this, I'll be sharing my presentation. Please be attentive, and wherever possible, let us discuss on every aspect of the presentation. So I'm sharing my presentation. Let me know if you can see this. So is the presentation visible?
Yes, ma'am, it's visible.
Yes, ma'am.
It's visible. Thank you. So friends, before we talk about student diversity and inclusive education, let us go ahead step by step. We all belong to, we are important stakeholders of the higher education system of our country. So here, I quote Nelson Mandela, education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. I unquote. I suppose all of you will agree with this. Yes or no? Yes?
Yes.
Please respond.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
because through education we get knowledge. Through knowledge, since times immemorial, mankind has been trying to make our life as comfortable, as luxurious as possible. So we have the inventions, we have the discoveries, we have solutions to the problems of mankind. That is, today we are facing the problems of global warming, climate change, all these. How are we addressing all this? Through our knowledge. We are trying to find the medicines for the diseases. So equal access to education is another major goals in the vision of a democratic and just society, according to the National Education Policy 2020, which I will be sharing with you in due course. Again, coming back, I'm talking about the current scenario. Now, in 2015, all the member states of the United Nations have joined the 2030 agenda of attaining 17 sustainable development goals. I suppose all of you know about this. So the United Nations Sustainable Development Goal, that is quality education, SDG 4 views inclusive and equitable quality education for all as an important goal and also a means to achieve all other goals. So before we move on further, I would like to share with you the 17 goals and how this goal number 4 is very instrumental in achieving them. Is the screen visible? Department of Economic and Social Affairs, Sustainable Development, United Nations. Yes, please.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes, so it's
So
visible.
let us quickly have a look. We all know, but let us revise and see how our SDG 4 connects and helps us in achieving them. Number 1 is no poverty, zero hunger, good health and well-being. Number 4, again, I'm stressing it is quality education. 5th is gender equality. 6th is clean water and sanitation. 7th is affordable and clean energy. 8th, decent work and economic growth. 9th, industry, innovation and infrastructure, reduced inequalities, sustainable cities and communities, responsible consumption and production, climate action, life below water, life on land, peace, justice, and strong institutions. And last one, the 17th one, partnerships for the goals. Together we can achieve. So here, when you have seen all the 17 sustainable development goals as the 2030 agenda of sustainable development, And we, being a member state of the United Nations, also we have joined in 2015. And when you visit this website, you can see the progress, implementation progress right from 2016 till 2024. And then, friends, you all, as you have seen, the Sustainable Development Goals, SDG 4, that is quality education, is very, very important in attaining these goals. All of you agree? Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So let us move on. And let us talk about higher education. Yeah, please. Yeah, please tell me. There was a request. Can I hear? What is it? Can I proceed?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah,
Yes, ma'am.
somebody
Yes, you can.
said something. Okay. Then higher education. Now, higher education, it is an important public sphere where public matters are discussed and the future direction of society takes shape. It is very important in developing collective capacities and capacity for associative learning. Now, as I said to you, the outcome of higher education, the students join the higher education institutions with an intention of earning the degrees and entering the services or becoming entrepreneurs. So, SDG also places education at the center of efforts towards developing sustainable communities and society. I told you, we are not just teachers, we are brand builders of the institution. For example, the NAC accreditation or the NIRF ranking, an important parameter or a criterion is the faculty, publications, extension, and research work. So here we are contributing to the students' careers, teaching them, conducting their examination for award of degrees, and also we are contributing from our research and publications to the institutional development. And above all, the institution, the student is a part of the society. So we are also contributing to the development of the society, that is sustainable communities and society. Now, with so much of importance we have accorded to education and higher education, the main problem is the access. So no one should be denied the opportunity to access education based on their individual characteristics and group belongings such as caste, class, race, gender, sexual orientation, physical ability, geographical location, and language. And remember, friends, if there is an inequality in education, it can also lead to inequality in other domains such as health. People who are educated, who are knowledgeable, they take care of their health, their family's health, and they are very cautious seeing the external environment. Income. Educated people, through their knowledge, they join services or do some business or work to earn income. And then this is how we are talking of the unemployment and income. So inequalities, educational inequalities in one generation can also be a major source for inequality in future generations. Supposing one generation does not realize the importance of education, they ignore, because knowledge is bliss, ignorance is not an excuse. So when you embrace education, then you become knowledgeable, and then the next generations also, they do it. Now, let us also see, you all might be knowing, we are the second largest higher education system in the world. Very few days earlier, we were the third largest, only next to United States of America and China. Let us quickly have a look at the higher education scenario, the changing scenario of higher education in our country. Can anyone tell me what is the current gross enrollment ratio? Yes, please. GER of a country right now. Please tell me. Yes, participants. Yes, I'll stop sharing. Let us have a brief discussion. The gross enrollment ratio. Any guess? Please respond.
I think, ma'am, it's 25 or 27. 27%, I
Okay,
think.
good. You're near about. Any other guess? Anybody else? Anyway, as per the All India Survey of Education, Higher Education, AISHE, all our institutions, do we have an AISHE code?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So according to that survey and the report of 21-22, our gross enrollment ratio was 28.4, but then we have made admissions in 22, 23, and 24 also, and soon we will be also notifying our admissions for 25. So we may be at 28.8, but here why I stop our discussion is, in olden days, in ancient times, our country had the Gurukul system. So the people used to go to the teacher or the sage or the guru to far off places, to the caves, to the forest, wherever the guru is residing, and seek knowledge and come back. For example, Arjun was the disciple of, yes, please tell me.
Dronacharya.
Dronacharya. He went to Dronacharya and he learned archery. Like that, everybody couldn't afford to, or there were no means of suitable transport to go to the Gurukul or to the far off places. So seeking education or acquiring knowledge was the right of only a few, maybe the kings, the elite class. And as we see in the history, mostly a sect of the category of social category were allowed to acquire education, but others, they were not. So then what happened? Take, for example, the women. Were women able to go to the Gurukuls, far off places? No, because today what we see, the established structure of higher education, 10 plus 2 plus 3, what we are following, that was not there. We did not have the schools in the vicinity, in the villages, in the mandals. We did not have the pre-university colleges and universities. This all gradually developed. So in those days, the education or access to education was limited with a few people. So can we have a look at the changing scenario of higher education during the last few decades? I'm sharing my slide. Tell me if you can see it. So we are back to the slide. Higher education scenario, higher education in India, the changing scenario. Massive expansion of student enrollments in higher education over the last few decades. How is it? Let us have a look at it. Now, friends, when we do the admissions, we are following the Government of India reservation policies. All these days, those who were not allowed access, not permitted, they have been given a chance, a reservation, an equity measure to mainstream them or to join the higher education. Let us visit the website of AISHE and see for ourselves how the higher education system of our country has changed over the last few decades. Is the screen visible, participants? All of you?
Yeah,
AISHE?
Yes, ma'am.
Is it visible?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
The
ma'am.
GER, the gross enrollment ratio is 28.4.
Yes.
Gender parity index is 1.01. And this is the number of universities. Please mute. Student teacher ratio is 1:26. These are some of the statistics. So as per the AISHE report 21-22, we had 4.33 crore students, right? So let us move on and see the reports. So here, friends, we have the AISHE, All India Survey of Higher Education, final reports of 16-17 to 21-22. But I will be sharing with you only the report of the latest one, what we have, that is 21-22. Is the report visible to all of you?
Yes,
Can I zoom
ma'am.
a bit?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm zooming.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
think this is clear. Yeah. So here, this is Government of India, Ministry of Education, Department of Higher Education. So we will not be talking about the gross enrollment ratio or the teachers, but we will be talking about the student enrollment, because we have to see how we have reached to the student diversity. So I'll quickly browse through about the contents, then we'll go to the main aspect of diversity, how we have achieved it. So you can access this report. It is available on the website. I'll just take you to the you can as well access this report. Now, friends, I seek your attention here. Can you see this 3.2.1 level-wise estimated enrollment? Can you see?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
What do you observe?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. What do you observe in the table? Now, 3.2.1 is level-wise estimated enrollment, and the compound annual growth rate during the period 17-18 to 2021, that is, we are taking the latest report last 5 years. So this is the table, box 9. Let us see various levels of education and student enrollments over the last 5 years. See, in PhD, we have in 17-18, 16 lakhs something, and then gradually the CAGR is 7.1. At the postgrad level also, there's a gradual and steady increase. And even at the undergraduate level, there's a steady increase. And even at the integrated courses, there's a huge increase. Okay, diploma, we will not discuss. Now, all of you observe one thing, that there is a steady increase in student enrollments. Then we will talk about the category-wise enrollment. Now, let us have a look at the female enrollment. At 3.2.2, what we see here is there is an 18.7 increase in enrollment during the last 5 years. Figure 47, we will see. So this is figure number 47. There's a growth in female enrollment during 17 to 18. Okay, even previously it has increased by 50 lakhs. Now it is so much. So what do you observe? There's a steady increase in female enrollment ratio. All of you are seeing this graph? Yes, participants?
Yes, ma'am.
17-18 to 2021, there's a steady increase. Then let us go to the social category-wise increase, because we are following the reservation policy of Government of India. So here in the SC category, there's a increase in enrollment, and female enrollment is also increased during the last 5 years. Then we go to the ST category, there's a steep increase, and also in female enrollment, what do you observe? There is an increase or not? Yes or no? Yes, participants?
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Then we see the OBC category, there is an increase. Yes, 17-18 to 21-22. There is an increase, so we will not talk about other categories. But as we said in the presentation, that during the last few decades, there have been massive student enrollments, whether it is category-wise or overall. Now, let us go back to the presentation. Here. Now, friends, we are the world's second largest higher education system, comprising of 56,000 institutions, admitting 43 million students and taught by 1.5 million teachers. But again, let us not forget that our country, ancient India, had world-class institutions such as Takshashila, Nalanda, Vikramshila, which set the highest standards of multidisciplinary teaching and research, and they hosted scholars from across backgrounds and countries. Now, the National Education Policy 2020 talks about multidisciplinary teaching and multidisciplinary research, wherein in the document it is clearly mentioned, through MOU, we need to collaborate and conduct multidisciplinary research from within the state, within the country, or the same or different disciplines across the world. So this, what we're talking about, multidisciplinary teaching and research in NEP 2020, the example is set right in ancient India through these ancient world-class institutions which existed in ancient India. And then this hosting of scholars, we had Fahian, Huensang, so many scholars coming from outside the country to seek knowledge to universities like Takshashila and Nalanda. So let us move ahead and see some of the educational institutions of holistic learning in our country. The picture you are seeing is called Birman Remains, and it is a part of Taxila or Takshashila University. It occupied a strategic location for the ancient trade routes, and then it was connected with Central Asia, Persia, and Middle East. So this prime location of this university attracted scholars from far and wide, which resulted in a vibrant multicultural environment. and it also fostered intellectual exchange and cultural diversity. Now, come on. Can anyone tell me where is Takshashila University or Takshila University now? Where is it located? Any guess?
In Pakistan, madam.
Rawalpindi.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you, sir. It's at a place called Rawalpindi on the banks of Indus River in Pakistan. Now, this university was originally a part of ancient India. So here, scholars came from different. Now, friends, remember, whenever a person, a student, or an individual travels from one place to another place, they carry their culture, their customs, their religion, their language, and their habits with them. Same is the case when others come. Yes or no? We carry our customs and traditions. Do we or not? Yeah, please
Yes, ma'am.
respond. Yes. Then what happens?
Yes.
Different cultures, when they meet at an educational institutions or a place of work, there the environment becomes multicultural environment, which we did have in ancient India through these holistic institutions. And then the scholars come here and our scholars also go. So an intellectual exchange, today we talk of student exchange programs, teacher exchange programs. This is nothing but the intellectual exchange and cultural diversity. Now this cultural diversity or the student diversity, now it is huge, but even in those days it existed. It is not new to us. So let us talk about another university, that is Vikramshila University. So Vikramshila University, it was one of the largest Buddhist universities in those days, which had 100 teachers and more than 1,000 students. It produced eminent scholars who were invited outside the countries to spread Buddhist learning, culture, and religion. Can anyone say where is Vikramshila University now? Yes? Where is it?
बिहार
Vikramshila
में
University.
बिहार
बिहार में कहाँ पे
बिहार।
exactly? बिहार
भागलपुर
में?
भागलपुर
Yes, ma'am, Bhagalpur. So even now
Bihar.
it exists. If anybody have any chance, anytime, do visit it. And another university which I would like to discuss with you is Nalanda Mahavira, or today what we know it as Nalanda University. It was established in the Gupta Empire, during the Gupta Empire, and supported by various patrons, both Buddhist and non-Buddhist. So Nalanda is considered to be the greatest centers of learning, not in ancient India, but ancient world. Okay? Kindly observe, in ancient world. So the current site of Nalanda is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and the Government of India in 2014 declared it as an institution of national importance. So anybody, where is Nalanda University?
Madam, Bihar.
Yes, it is in Bihar. Have anyone been there?
Yeah, ma'am. I have gone there in 2015.
2015, sir. Would you like to share some of your experiences from there with us?
Absolutely, ma'am. This is Praveen Kumar from
Okay.
Siddharth Nagar.
Sir, can we
Actually,
have the pleasure of watching your video? You can be on your video, please.
Just
If you don't mind, and I'll stop presenting and resume it. Yes, let us have a discussion. Thank you, sir. कुछ अपने विचार शेयर कीजिए. नालंदा आप हो आए हैं अपने साथियों के साथ. It is one of the ancient universities है, आज भी वो है. जी.
Actually, ma'am, in 2015-16, I have been there. Actually, I have been the part of an institute. I was there in BEd department. So we just went there with our friends. So actually, really, it was a great experience of my life. क्योंकि उससे पहले I just read in books कि नालंदा क्या है, क्या नहीं है. But जब मैंने वहाँ जाकर देखा, तो मैं I cannot imagine कि जो चीज़ें कि हम लोग किताबों में पढ़ते थे या वीडियो में देखते थे, उसको खुली आंखों से हमने देखा. जो पिक्चर अभी आप स्क्रीन शेयर कर रहे थे, मैं पीपीटी में देख रहा हूँ, ये बिल्कुल सेंटर पॉइंट है. हम लोग जब जाते हैं, एंटर करते हैं, जब अंदर जाते हैं, तो जस्ट सामने वही हमको दिखता है तो जो हम लोग जनरली देखते हैं. केवल वही नहीं है मैम, इसके अलावा और बहुत सारी चीज़ें हैं नालंदा में घूमने के लिए. जो हमारा एंट्री पॉइंट है, वहाँ से जहाँ हमारे जो बौद्ध भिक्षु होते थे, वो अपने मठों में बैठ के जब ध्यान किया करते थे, कंसंट्रेशन करते थे, छोटे छोटे कमरे में वहाँ बने हुए हैं. उनके कमरों के अंदर भी छोटी सी जगह है. बताया जाता है, लोगों से हमने पूछा कि वो वहाँ पर ध्यान लगाया करते थे, जो भी हमारे बौद्ध भिक्षुक वहाँ होते थे उस समय. तो
थैंक यू सर.
अच्छा मैम, एक बड़ी इंपॉर्टेंट थी, जो वहाँ की वो ईंट थी ना, जो ब्रिक थी, उसका साइज अलग था नॉर्मल से. आई थिंक वो मुझे लगता था कि हो सकता है कि 1/2 शायद समथिंग कुछ उसका साइज रहा हो. और बड़ी अच्छी वो एक तरह से उसका कलर भी चेंज था। मैं बहुत सारे एक्सपीरियंसेस वहाँ थे। अच्छा, कुछ जगह ऐसी है कि वहाँ हमको रोक दिया गया है कि सर सॉरी आप वहाँ मत जाइए, वो प्रोहिबिटेड एरिया है, उससे थोड़ा दूर आप रहिएगा। So thank you.
Thank you for sharing your experience. और friends, participants, मुझे लगता है कि जब ऐसी चीजें हम सुनते हैं तो बहुत अच्छा लगता है क्योंकि हम इससे जुड़े हैं. Okay, thanks for sharing your experience. And if chance मिलेगा तो हम भी देखना चाहेंगे उसको. So let us go back to our presentation, without wasting much time, क्योंकि मुझे बहुत सारी चीजें share करनी. So the screen is visible, please.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
So our Indian education system produced great scholars such as Charaka, Susruta, Aryabhatta, Tiruvallur, among numerous others who made some minor contributions to world knowledge in diverse fields. Again, there is a diversity. Mathematics, astronomy, metallurgy, medical science, surgery, civil engineering, architecture, shipbuilding, and navigation. Yoga, even today, yoga is so much important. Fine arts, chess, and more. So Indian culture and philosophy have had a strong influence on the world. Friends, do you all agree? Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. And it will be I'll feel proud in sharing that one of every 6 software engineers in the United States is an Indian, and our Indian diaspora are in almost every country of the world except 5 or 6 countries. We have the doctors, engineers, software engineers, and then pharmacists. Take any field, the medical field, we have Indian diaspora working because we have a strong foundation of education in our country. So now let us move on to diversity. What is diversity? I read here as, diversity involves to all the ways in which people differ, including primary characteristics such as age, race, gender, ethnicity, mental and physical abilities, sexual orientation, and secondary characteristics such as nationality, education, income, religion, work experience, language skills, geographic location, family status, communication style, experience, learning style, economic background, and work style. So these are the primary and secondary characteristics which create diversity in general. So participants, let us discuss, do we have diversity among students in our educational institutions? Do we have students of different age groups like UG, PG, and research? Yes or no? Yes?
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
And we also have male and female students unless it is an exclusive women's college. And we have students with different learning abilities, different physical abilities, students who are specially able or differently able. And then we have students, foreign students, and every year we also see that almost 10 lakh students from our own country go to foreign higher education institutions in countries like United States of America, United Kingdom, Canada, Australia, Germany, to name a few. 10 lakh students. Every year the number has been increasing. But let us also think only 40,000 students are coming to our institutions. So why so? We need to think upon it. And we also have students from different financial backgrounds, students from below poverty line, that is economically weaker sections, students from elite families, students who have studied, had a work experience and back. They have different language skills, that is students who are coming from regional languages, some coming from English medium, some coming from Marathi, Gujarati, Telugu, and Urdu medium, and then different family status. Some may be from a elite family status, some could be first generation learners. Different communication style, the same language, English, depending upon the region, east, west, north, south, the student pronounce and speak and communicate in a different style. And then their learning style is also different. You see, given assignment, some students submit dot on time. Others need to be reminded, and some others need further reminders, and some others, they hardly submit in spite of the reminders. And their work style is also different. So, is it clear what is diversity to all of you? Yes, participants?
Yes, yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Diversity, is it clear? Definition of diversity? Okay.
Okay, ma'am. Okay.
Okay, now
Okay,
we
ma'am.
have discussed what is diversity, and we have observed, connected this primary and characteristics of individuals, which is creating diversity, what we call student diversity in our own colleges and universities, and all of you have agreed. Can we see a small video, please? Can I play a video? Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Observe this video carefully, then I'll be asking you some questions and we'll have a discussion. I think some people have not muted. Kindly, please do not. Yes? Please mute yourself. Watch this video. You might have seen it earlier also, but again, I request you to watch it. Is the screen visible? Yes?
Yes, ma'am. Visible.
Audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, please
Yes.
watch it.
मिले सुर मेरा तुम्हारा तो सुर बने हमारा सुर की नदियाँ हर दिशा से बहके सागर में मिले बादलों का रूप लेकर बरसे हल्के हल्के मिले सुर मेरा तुम्हारा तो सुर बने हमारा मिले सुर मेरा तुम्हारा वट बनिए सान तरस
तेरा सुर मिले मेरे सुर देना मिलके बने एक नवा सुरताल मिले सुर मेरा तुम्हारा तो सुर बने हमारा
मुंहिंजो सुर तुंहिंजे सां प्यारा मिले जॾहिं गीत असां जो मधुर तरानो बणे तॾहिं
सुर का दरिया बहके सागर में मिले
बदलांदा रूप लखे
बरसन होले होले
நம் இருவரும் சுரமும் நமதாகும் திசை வேறானாலும் ஆழிசேர் ஆறுகள் முகிலாய் மழையாய் பொழிவது போல் இசை நம் இசை నన్నదనిగే నిన్నదనియా
తీరిదంటే నమ్మదనియా
నా స్వరము నీ స్వరము സംഗമമായി മനസ്വരങ്ക അവതരിഞ്ചി എന്റെ സ്വരവും നിങ്ങളുടെ സ്വരവും ഒത്തുചേർന്നു നമ്മുടെ സ്വരമായി তোমার সুর মোদের সুর
সৃষ্টি করো কই সুর তোমার সুর মোদের সুর সৃষ্টি করো কই সুর সৃষ্টি হো কই তান তোমা মোরা স্বরর মিলন সৃষ্টি করি চালু ঐক্যতানো बरसती धारा सुर की नदियाँ हर दिशा से बहके सागर में मिले बादलों का रूप लेके बरसे हल्के हल्के हो मिले सुर मेरा तुम्हारा मिले सुर मेरा तुम्हारा ओ सुर बने हमारा
So friends, I hope you have seen this video earlier also. Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
So,
ma'am.
but now we will discuss what did you feel when we are discussing diversity? I would like to hear from you. What did you observe? Did you observe diversity in this video? What type of diversity? Yeah, please respond.
I didn't really see diversity. I just saw few privileged people, mainly celebrity level people who we know who has their own face values, and also in sense of state wise, I didn't see any northeast people, any southern Indian people. So mainly what I saw is central or north Indian people. That's what my primary observation was. I'm sure I will find more if I watched it closely. I wasn't being conscious.
Okay, we'll add up to it.
Thank
There
you.
was Northeast, I have observed. Yeah, anybody else? Yes. What did you observe? Now, was there a diversity of age? Age-wise, was there a diversity?
Yes,
Yes,
there
ma'am.
was.
Yes,
We
yes,
saw
ma'am.
children and also elder people
Children,
and middle-aged
adults,
people.
and also senior people. Then what about?
Language
There was
wise
some
also.
there was some form of cultural diversity as well, because we were able
Exactly.
to observe
Language
Yes.
diversity.
different regions.
Language,
Different
language
regions.
diversity, geographical diversity was there.
Very good. What else? Culture, language, age, profession,
Social,
And
social.
cultural gravity.
cultural, professional also. We saw cricketers, dancers, singers, actors.
Yes.
Yes or no?
Multidisciplines.
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Yes, ma'am.
So what was the message conveyed?
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
What was the message conveyed?
Ma'am, despite belonging to various, meaning despite the diversity, we all are united in our hearts, and so we have the same feeling for our India, for our
What did you
country.
feel? Could you connect our talk, our theme of diversity to this video? Yes?
Yes,
The
Yes,
message
ma'am.
conveyed, the message conveyed was unity in
diversity.
diversity. Now, all of you agree in this
Yes.
video? And
Yes,
one
ma'am.
more thing, as you're seeing this
India's
video, you
theme.
said diversity of culture, age, region, language, and all that. Were you celebrating this diversity, or you were not comfortable with this diversity? Were you happy with this diversity, what you were observing in the video?
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am,
We were
certainly.
celebrating diversity.
Yes.
Can I say that?
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, coming back to our own institutions, our college, our university, you all said before playing the video that there is a diversity. Neelam Srivastava, who is Neelam Srivastava? Please mute. There's a lot of disturbance, please, from your side. Okay, I'm sorry. Now, we agreed that there's a diversity or among students in our institutions of higher learning. Okay, in colleges and universities. Now, my next question to you is, as we were celebrating diversity and connecting the various primary and secondary characteristics in this video, are we doing the same? Are we celebrating diversity in institutions? Come on, quickly answer. Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
100%?
Not exactly 100% because it
Correct.
depends from
I
one
also
institution
agree
to
with
the
you.
other.
I also agree with you. What about others? Are we celebrating diversity? Not 100%. Any examples you would like to share? What do you observe? Within the classroom, outside the classroom. So now here, now when we take the higher education institution, we have three important stakeholders: the students, the teachers, and the support staff or the administrative staff like examination branch, placement cell. Yes, examination branch, placement cell, scholarship cell, like that we have various units for supporting the students. So all of them are important stakeholders of an educational, higher education institution. So anybody would like to share some example, or shall I share? Is there any problem with this student diversity with respect to gender, with respect to economic status, with respect to language, with respect to so many things?
I think it depends on the location of the institution. Like, if it is a proper, I am from West Bengal, so if I go to any proper Kolkata college, I'll see the gender equality, or in terms of caste and creed, I'll see there is a so-called equality. I don't know if I can use the word equality. It's in a very fluid sense, but if I go to interior college, my college is in a very rural and interior college, so there the minority students, they are they are more than the major community. And I also see that girls are not in a very proportionate size. So I think it depends on the location and the family, the community where the college is situated, because parents, it starts from your home. Parents have to send
Right.
their kids, so it
Correct.
depends on the awareness of their homes.
Yes, that's right. Agreed. Aditi ji, thank you so much for your inputs and your views. And then let me tell you some of the examples. You respond. Now, supposing if there was 100% unity in diversity, had we been celebrating diversity in our institutions, we would not have certain things. In our institution, do we have anti-ragging cell?
Yes, yes.
Why? Is it needed? Because there's a diversity of experience. The seniors in the institution are ragging the juniors. So to avoid that, students are affected by that. Students are not included just because they are freshers. They are newcomers. They are not forming a group. They are excluded from the seniors. So to avoid this exclusion, there should not be any problem to them, we have the anti-ragging cell. Then, do we have students' grievance redressal committees in our institutions?
Yes, madam. Yes.
Yes. Why? Because students have grievances. They are not included. People are making fun of them. People are not supporting them. People are not cooperating with them. So, to address their grievances, we have the students' grievance redressal committees, and we will notify on the website in case of any grievance. You can contact so and so phone number and so email. And then, do we have internal complaints committee, ICC,
Yes,
in our
ma'am.
institutions? Yes.
Yes.
Why? To address the sexual harassment at workplace, gender discrimination, right? So another is SC cell, OBC cell, and then ST cell, and we have the equal opportunity cell. Why? All this because we are not celebrating diversity, and there is no diversity in unity in diversity at the institutional level. All of you agree what is happening because of student diversity? Then we have also seen why this diversity, because we are taking certain steps to mainstream them. So let's go back to the presentation and see further. So we have seen the video, and then we are now moving to the diversity. This data is available. Now, because of diversity, exclusion is taking place. So as per UNESCO 1960, so any distinction, exclusion, limitation, or preference, which being based on caste, ethnicity, gender, language, religion, political affiliation, and economic class, has the purpose of nullifying or impairing equality of access, participation, and outcome of higher education. So in the context of education, we can have two types of discrimination, positive and negative. Positive is when we are giving certain additional facilities like the reservation, special hostels, special scholarships to mainstream them, that is positive discrimination. We are giving only to a select of them. Negative is students not trying to share the common facilities, trying to exclude others from a different group or a diverse group. So normally we have the positive forms of discrimination, like you said, remote area and this area. So I've taken some examples from website wherein we have the grievance redressal mechanism, anti-discrimination cell, caste discrimination complaints committee, gender discrimination in higher education. So all these are examples because we are not celebrating diversity. So negative discrimination is based on background characteristics of learners like caste, class, gender, language, region, or physical appearance. So this is not welcome. Students get excluded because of this. Now, I told you the three major stakeholders, and then individual discrimination is sometimes students do not share common facilities on the campus with others, cafeteria, playgrounds, washrooms with other learners. This is individual discrimination, and knowingly or unknowingly, teachers also, the past learners, they respond to the teachers and we leave the introverts. So teacher-student interaction also, the teachers should try to extend social and emotional support in their academic and non-academic needs of students. So is the presentation visible to all of you?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Please respond. Sometimes what happens is the screen sharing will stop. So making some derogatory remarks against some category of students, which is very common, which we should not encourage. And then seeking the admission also, they should be given a hand-holding. So institutional discrimination is nothing but giving some scholarships, free shifts, book grant, and remedial coaching for slow learners. These are the institutional discrimination methods, but they are with the purpose of mainstreaming them. Then what will happen? What are the consequences of this discrimination? Now, students are discriminated, their participation becomes less. They either stop coming to the institutions, that is drop out, or they appear in the examination and fail. Both failure and dropout, which will lead to not a good consequences. So here I quote Martin Luther King Jr., wherein whatever affects one directly affects all indirectly, I unquote. So the student is not an entity. The student has a family, the neighborhood, the society, and the institution. They are all interconnected. Supposing some student from not our department, but a different department gets a gold medal or an all India rank in civil services, do we all celebrate that he belongs to our institution, our state? Yes? Do we all celebrate? Consequently, if something goes wrong, some students fall sick or something happens, we all sympathize with them. So discrimination in education at all levels will lead to exclusion and harmful effects. So the consequence of discrimination, it is discussed at individual level, that is the student, the institution, the family, the community, and the wider society. They are all interconnected. Do you all agree? Agree or not? Are you all there?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. I agree.
Please respond.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So, because of discrimination, the adverse effect will be on their access, participation, and their outcome. So let us talk about the National Education Policy 2020, what it talks about inclusive education. Now, NEP 2020 and inclusive education. Now, this new education policy has conveyed structural changes, and then it is trying to make our country the global knowledge superpower, ensuring equity and inclusion. So in the document, all of you have seen the NEP document, gone through it?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So let us talk about chapter 6, wherein we have recommendations regarding inclusive education at the level of school education, and chapter 14, equity and inclusion in higher education. So shall we have a look at the NEP document, please? All of you? Chapter 6 and chapter 14? Is a NEP document visible?
Yes, visible.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So this is National Education Policy 2020, Ministry of Human Resource Development. So part 1 is school education and chapter 6 is equitable and inclusive education for all. We will move down and we have chapter number 14, equity and inclusion in higher education. So let's visit this page. So here we have equity and inclusion in higher education, and especially here we are talking of taking measures for SEDG, socially and economically disadvantaged groups, because we want to make our country a Vishwaguru or the knowledge superpower. This is possible only through education. So for this purpose, the higher education institutions and the governments should take certain steps. So the steps to be taken by governments are mentioned here. So we should have GER for SDGs to mainstream them, and then develop and support technology tools for participation and learning outcomes. So what are the steps to be taken by higher education institutions? We can see here. So we should have these steps to be taken by the higher education institutions, which we will go back to our presentation and have a look at it.
ढीले वाले कौन से अरे आधे आधे हाथ में हाँ जी
Please mute. Can I continue? So we have these chapters 6 and 14, and then we have seen the mention of these inclusive and equitable education. So what is inclusive education? It is a technology approach that seeks to provide equal opportunities and support for all students, irrespective of their diverse needs. And inclusive education, it aims to create an environment where students with disabilities, SEDGs, just now we have seen in the document, socio-economic disadvantages, cultural differences, and different learning styles, slow learners and fast learners, they can learn together in mainstream institutions. This is the aim or the goal of inclusive education. So it encourages higher education institutions to adapt teaching methodologies, curricula, and infrastructure to have or to meet the diverse needs of all the learners. And then it plays an important role in creating a society where every individual, irrespective of their background, can access quality education. This is gaining more momentum the world over, and it has a potential in fostering a equitable and progressive society. Now let us see the few legislations. You might all be knowing about the Right to Education Act 2009, which made elementary education a fundamental right for all children between the age of 6 to 14. And if any, whether it is organized or inorganized sector, if any individual or an organization employs children below 14 years, it is an offensible act amounting to child labor. Okay? So they all have to be up to 14 years, they have to be sent to school. And we also have certain international commitments like the United Nations Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities, which obliges the country to ensure inclusive education for all. And then we have to create an awareness through NGOs, activists, and educators about inclusive learning environment. And there are also certain policy reforms at the state governments like the Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan and inclusive education for disabled at secondary stage. These schemes support, these legislations support inclusivity in education. How can we go way forward and build an inclusive future for the learners? By conducting programs for the teachers, training the teachers in inclusive teaching strategies, not just concentrating on the fast learners, but also including the slow learners. By creating an promoting awareness and sensitization, and most importantly, improving the infrastructure like ramps, elevators, and accessible washrooms for students with disabilities. And then the curriculum should be available in regional languages. That is what we have the Bharatiya Bhasha Samiti, wherein we are trying to translate the books in regional languages. And then also in Braille script for those who are visually impaired. And then we need to have certain collaborations and partnerships with NGOs and communities at the local level, for example, through community colleges, to the way to build an inclusive future. And then we need to address the inequalities, like one of our participants was saying that very interior colleges and beyond that interior level also, students do not have the facility to join higher education. And we do have certain challenges, most importantly being infrastructure and resources, teacher training, and the social norms of students with different abilities are not sent in the mainstream for the fear of cultural biases. Or even today, like for this reason, we have the Government of India schemes, that is a Beti Bachao and Beti Padhao. So even the assessment and evaluation, it should be very inclusive, not one size fits for all. The slow learners should be given more time to complete their credits, or a different evaluation and assessment method for them. So we need to have a we now follow a teacher-centric approach, but we need to have in future for an inclusive education, learner-centric approach. For example, learner-centric methods could be giving an opportunity for the learners to more participation, and the more the participate, the learning is more. Discussions, group work, tutorials, practical exercises, project works, and field experience, wherein there is mainstreaming or interaction between different diverse groups. So this should not be our purpose, as teachers should not be knowledge transmission, but knowledge construction. So the higher education institutions and their role in 21st century. So today, the syllabus completion is not the need of the hour, but what the industry desires. What is the need today? Because of the vast developments in information and communication and information technology, the whole world is a global village. We need to create just not responsible citizens of the country, but responsible global citizens. Because again, there we have a diverse culture, diverse individuals. There is a lot of diversity the moment we talk of a globalized economy. Creativity, critical thinking, communication, and collaboration should be a part of our curricula. So we have to empower the teachers as facilitators and motivators, so that they in turn can empower the students. So the role of teachers is teachers should have a strong student-teacher relationship, encourage self-confidence, and incorporate emotional reflections. And friends, you all might be knowing about the UGC regulation of mentoring of students that we will discuss now for an inclusive education. So mentoring students, why should we mentor the students? Not just teaching them the syllabus, to provide a platform for them for sharing their academic and non-academic matters with their mentors, who are their teachers, the mentees. So we should have a career guidance for the mentees. An effective student mentor should be a good listener. He or she should be very flexible, approachable, able to empathize, a successful guide, and eager to learn from the students through their eyes. And to be a good mentor, we need certain skills: self-awareness, credibility, accessibility, empathy, and understanding. The mentors should try to understand the mentees by reaching their level, and then give them the solution, not a permanent solution, but make them come out with a solution for their problems. The responsibilities of a mentor are to objective the goals and needs of the mentees, listen to them, guide them, and then be very approachable. And they themselves should be role models, so that the students can depend upon them for their academic and non-academic requirements. Then you all might be very familiar with the remedial teaching strategy. All of you, I think most of you are taking up this remedial teaching strategy in your institutions? Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Anybody would like what method you are following? Would you like to share? Remedial teaching, it could be individualized remedial teaching, it could be peer group teaching, or it could be feedback method. What is that you're following? Anybody would like to share here, or shall I share? Remedial teaching? Yes, what happened? Now.
Ma'am, we are differentiating advanced and slow learners.
Okay.
On the basis of their performances.
Performance, okay.
We are taking the internal marks as the basis, and those students who are not.
Can I ask you all one thing? Can we have a classroom dedicated with a printout or a label, remedial coaching class? Is it advisable?
It can be, depending upon the availability of resources in an organization.
Ma'am, you didn't get my point. Resources is one thing. Can we label a classroom as remedial coaching class?
Yes, why not?
But then, ma'am, here you can, but the students may be a little bit shy or hesitant to come to that class, entering that class, because it is labeled as remedial, right? So what I mean to say
that
here
could be a way to look at it, ma'am.
That could be here. So what I want to convey here is conduct the remedial class, but let it be very normal. Do not label it, so that they don't hesitate to come. Let them be very comfortable. Make them feel that they are like any other learner, but by chance, this semester they could not perform better. Okay, so remedial coaching, it could be the teacher who is teaching, not that, but a different teacher. It could be one-to-one, or a small group of students with one teacher. And then, is any of you practicing remedial teaching with peer learning? Any of you? Peer learning, are you practicing? Or shall I share? Peer group learning.
Ma'am, it is not specifically for remedial classes, but in general, during the course of the classes, if we feel that some students are able to help out the others, then we designate some students who can help the others. Instead of demarking it as a remedial session, we just go ahead with it.
Good initiative. That's appreciable. So here also not as a remedial, but what we are trying to do is like I am from management, so we get students from different backgrounds in MBA. That is BA, BCom, BSc, and somebody from BTech. So some students who are from arts or science background, they do not know debit credit. So what we do is we ask these students of commerce background to help their friends out with what exactly is accounts, basic, what is a balance sheet, what is debit credit, so that in the beginning itself of the semester, so that they're familiar. Similarly, some students with good mathematics background, statistics knowledge, they conduct some sessions. So this was found to be very, very successful right in the first semester itself. Peer group learning, they are more comfortable, easy to ask questions. They don't have the hesitation that how can I ask a professor the basic, what is debit, what is credit. Okay, so this is what we are doing. So let's go back to our presentation and then discuss other things. So this is individualized education program, peer support and feedback to students and parents. So individualized, we already discussed. Peer support also we discussed. And then feedback to students, parents, and teachers. It should be very, very timely. Feedback should be given. And then it is observed that some parents have very high expectation of their children, and some have very least. That should be addressed. And then the students should be not so much pressurized by the teachers and the institution and the parents, but the learning should be made pleasurable manner in a comfortable way. So we can provide feedback. It should always be positive and effective to motivate and support the learners. And finally, a good education institution is one in which every student feels welcome for and cared for, and a safe and stimulating learning environment exists, and a wide range of learning experiences are offered, where good physical infrastructure and appropriate resources conducive to learning are available to all the students, so that they feel welcomed, cared for. Then there is no discrimination, there is no exclusion, and then an inclusive approach is always welcome and appreciable. So this is about it. So any questions in this presentation? Otherwise, I would like to talk to you about the academic bank of credits. Yes, participants? Any questions you would like to ask me here? Or shall I talk to you about the academic bank of credits facility, which is also contributing a lot to inclusive education? Yes? Any questions, please?
Ma'am, can I say something?
Yeah, please.
So this is not a question per se, but since we were discussing peer learning and mentor-mentee and remedial classes, a practice that has worked for me as a teacher. First of all, I am Dr. Dua Naqvi from Khwaja Moinuddin Chishti Language University in Lucknow.
Okay.
And I also teach business administration, so we have that in common, ma'am.
Okay.
And one of the practices that has really helped a lot in a lot of ice breaking is that I usually do is that I allot assignments, same assignments to MBA first and MBA second year students. And I make teams.
Okay.
So the MBA second year students are team leaders, and MBA the first year students are team members.
Okay.
And I give them some form of social issue or some form of government schemes for regarding which they can probably spread awareness. And they work as a team. Members of each team comprises of 6 students. And that has really helped in developing a sense of camaraderie, developing a sense of belongingness to the institution, and at the same time understanding the system as well. So this is this can be categorized into peer learning also. It can be categorized into remedial. It can be categorized into mentor-mentee. Matlab, it is an all encompassing type of a technique. This is my suggestion, and probably my colleagues would benefit from it.
Thank you so much, Dr. Dua Naqvi, for sharing your experience. I will add up to it. You're also, though you have not mentioned, but you are also trying to make it an inclusive strategy, because inclusiveness, the juniors and the seniors, yes, diversity
Yes, ma'am. That's correct.
of experience that you are addressing to. Though you have not mentioned, you can include that also. Thanks for your sharing your experience and what you do. That's really nice and very appreciable.
Thank you
Yeah,
so much, ma'am. May I ask you a question?
yeah, please.
Ma'am, in the revised 2025 UGC regulations, a lot of stress has been placed on innovative learning, innovative teaching, or innovative pedagogy. Are we defining innovation or innovative pedagogy in any of the documents, or is it just subject to interpretation?
It is up to the teacher what pedagogy you use. It is up to you, and it also depends on the discipline of the subject which you are teaching. So it's left to us. Innovative teaching strategies we have to know here. Why we are talking of innovation is it has become, like I told you in one of my slides, teacher-centric. Whatever the teacher wants, they are doing. They are not measuring the learning outcome of the students, right? So in order to have the learning outcome, we also have the AICT Parak. Are you all aware of what is AICT Parak?
No, ma'am.
Self-learning assessment. Can I share it with you all right now?
Yes,
You all
ma'am.
can
I mean,
register as teachers also, as students also, as institutions also. I'll quickly share that and we can come back and take some questions. Okay. I'll share the screen. AICT Parak. This is very nice. And then why it has been built is the students don't know where they stand. Now this is addressing the problem of employability also. Because in most of the time it is seen that, most 40% of our engineering graduates especially are not employable. So I will take you to AICT Parak. Kindly have a look at it. Is the screen visible to all of you?
yes, ma'am.
Yeah, this is AICT Parak. This is nothing but SLA, Student Learning Assessment. How it works also, we'll show you. And then, so this is technical students, employability is a problem. So this is a purpose. You can go through the website. Since we are short of time, very briefly, I'll be showing you. This is the student learning assessment, the vision and the mission. So now these are the goals. We will have skilled graduates, placement, altruistic to develop civic, social, and personal responsibility. Once again, indirectly, we are talking of inclusion, innovation, and wealth. So this is about it. Student learning assessment, and you can register here as an institute, as a student, and as a faculty. Okay, once you register, you can log in. And before I show the process of register, so this is AICT, we are building, and most of them asked during my presentations that whether non-technical also can join. Yeah, that also you can join. Non-technical disciplines also can join. This is already there. I'll show. So as an institute, you can just register here. Okay. Once you register, you can log in. Then as a student also, you can register. And as a faculty also, you can register and access. So this is about the registration. Once you register, you can log in. Now let us go to the facts. So this is about that. See, can non-technical institutions and their students also take part in Parak? Yes. Modes of assessment are
What exactly is the purpose of this portal?
student learning assessment.
So we enter the marks of the students, or
No, not
how do we
marks.
go about it?
No. Not marks. No, these are the disciplines. Now what is happening is participation, how it can, you can see here. So this is the participation. Now what is happening is, see, there will be some tests and assignments here which are up to date. So if the students join this will help them in their knowledge where to they stand here, the scope. Okay, student learning is a project to our technical students of India, even non-technical. I showed you. To understand various factors of that affect skill development across India about SLA. So they can assess themselves. Learning, self-test they can take. This is student learning assessment. We'll go to that and show you. This is one. There was a circle about it. Now see, it is a measuring a student ability. How student is prepared for employment. He is reading the syllabus, giving the examination. But through these assessments, he can know what these are the guidelines you can see.
This is an excellent resource, madam. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah. See here, I was looking at this, ma'am. See, the institute, they will give the assignments at 1. The student, what will do? They will acknowledge at number 2. Then the assessment will take here. Student will log in and complete the assessment in due course of time. Stage number 3. And stage number 4 is institute and student. The outcome report will be generated to the students and acknowledgement report will be generated to the institute. So you know where you stand, what skills you need to develop, that you can impart. Is it clear?
That's great, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So this is about the student learning assessment. This is a good portal, teachers also. And normally they think that it is for that, but very specifically for that only, I opened this fact and I showed you this. Can non-technical students, what are the modes of assessment? Can I take assessment in my local language? Even in local language, it is available. Okay. How many times can I take the assessment? There is no limit. You can take n number of times and it is not paid. It is free. Okay. What will I get after taking the assessment? You will get a report about your which carries levels and gains in academic, aptitude, and higher order thinking skills. What else do you want? Right? So please guide your students in joining this, and you also register and log in and see what is happening here. Is that okay? Shall I start sharing this?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Okay. So let's go back to our presentation. You want to ask me anything from my presentation? I'll open that. Otherwise, we can take 1 or 2 questions. So to sum up, we have discussed today about education, the importance of higher education and the changing scenario of higher education in India, and a quick look at the institutions of holistic learning in ancient India like Takshashila, Nalanda and Vikramshila. From then onwards, we move to the discussion of what exactly is diversity, what is student diversity, and we have seen a video of diversity of our country and related it with the diversity of students in our educational institutions. We discussed about the important stakeholders of our HEIs, that is colleges and universities, students, teachers, and the academic or the administrative staff in examination branch, placement cell, admission cell, etc. And then if diversity is not addressed or celebrated in institutions, it will lead to exclusion or discrimination, and how to address this and what are the measures the institutions should take, and as teachers, how we can bring about. And we have also discussed some legislations to inclusive education, and we have seen the NEP document, what it talks about inclusive education for all in higher education institutions and some of the provisions laid down. And lastly, we have also discussed about AICT Parak, and as teachers, our role will be to create the ambience and environment for all the students where they feel welcome for and cared for as teachers, to bring in social inclusion and in higher education institutions. Thank you all for your patient listening, and it's over to you now for any questions, please.
Thank you so much, madam. Now I would like to invite Dr. Rajan Shukla for vote of thanks.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is Rajan Sukla from DS College, Aligarh. First of all, I would like to thank Professor Saneem Fatima ma'am for her insightful and informative session. So, ma'am has talked about the significance of inclusive education to achieve the SDG goals and as well as the objectives of NEP. So for that, she also give us the data from IC that what is the current situation we have in higher education, whether it is GE or other parameters. And then she talked about the our ancient learning center, ancient scholars, that how our education system was, and then she came up with a focus for this what is the focus for inclusive learning, that is nothing but the various needs of the diverse this diversity we have. And she also played videos so that we can understand the diversity that we enjoy, and also the discrimination that emerge out of the diversity. And then lastly, she came up with the measures to approach that how we can meet the objectives, such as we can inculcate the curriculum according to the target audience. And then she talked about some portal like IC Parak portal. And so I believe that everybody, all of us must have benefited from this session, and will try to implement in our teaching methodology. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Rajan Shuklaji, and thank you so much, Ma'am Fatima,
Thank
Thank
for
you,
joining
sir.
us.
I have
Thank
a
you.
meeting now.
We
Can I
will
leave?
meet in
Thank you,
next
ma'am.
session.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you. Take care, all of you.
Thank
Nice
you, ma'am.
meeting you all online.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so
Thank you,
much, ma'am.
Saneem ma'am.
Bye.